All right, guys, we'll get going here. So everybody should be able to hear me. Just making sure. All right, so we're gonna start on AMD here. This is my trade as of end of day Friday. Um, so here's how you want to start loading it into. How you want to start loading it into the Analyze tab. So you're going to. So I'm confused with these NAs here. What we got going on here? Okay, whatever. We'll continue. So I chose. Oh, that's why TTM. How the hell am I here? AMD. Bear with me here. All right, that's better. So I chose vertical call by vertical. We'll just go down to one contract. We'll start with one contract here. And I did 13.15. And then you're going to right click on this, either of these two, and hit Analyze Trade. So you guys will have to bear with me. I'm kind of familiarizing myself with this Analyze tab as well, but I'll just share some of the basic stuff that I kind of go through. So it's easy. Waiting for my father to get in. I thought he was in already. Stand by. My dad's having some troubles getting logged in here. Not the most tech savvy person. So we'll give him a couple minutes to try to get in here, and then we'll get rolling. Yeah, we can go over some of this other stuff. That's true. So yeah, for a vertical call, I can do um, one in the money. Let's go to the trade tab here. I don't know why I'm showing these NAs here. I've never seen that before. But yeah, so how I generally do it is one in the money, so 13, and then one out of the money. And usually I want a $2 wide spread, and then I want this price right here to be $1 or less. Um, and that is because, excuse me, we'll hit confirm and send here. That's not what I wanted. By vertical, there we go. So 15. So when I hit confirm and send here, it's going to show me my max profit is 142. It's only 58. Okay, so my max profit is 142. It's a $2 wide spread, so therefore my entire max and loss combined is $200. Since it's a $2 wide spread. So out of that $200, 142 I can profit, 58 is my max loss. And that 58 is this price right here. So if this is $1, then it's literally 1-to-1 odds. So at the least I want right about 1-to-1. For this case, it's a little bit more in our favor at 58. But yeah, we're going to kind of go over as far as buying one in the money and one out of the money. And then we'll analyze what it looks like buying slightly out of the money. And then time permitting, we'll analyze like a larger spread. So like a 15 and I need more strikes here. Well, a 13 and a 16, or a 13 and a 18 if I didn't even have it. So yeah, like a larger spread. Alright, we'll get going on this. I can catch him up later. So what you want is this lock, it to be locked. Now if it's not, basically your price and stuff is going to fluctuate. I don't know if that's for more intraday, like if I'm analyzing a trade during market hours. Yes, I'm bullish on AMD for sure. I'll show you that in a second. But yeah, you want this to be locked. If I go into add simulated trades from here and I add a analyze vertical, delete this guy. Almost. So it's unlocked. This is going to fluctuate with the market. So this price is going to go up and down. So we want this to be locked. So just go into the trade tab to select these. And these you just delete like that. So yeah, I'll show you the chart on AMD real quick. It'll buy us some time to get my dad in here. AMD daily, this is the weekly. So this is my general setup here, is the daily and the 4-hour. And so on the daily you see my RSI lag is at the bottom. My fractal energy isn't high where I'd like it to be. We're at 39, but AMD's been running so hard for so long, like all it wants to do is just get out of exhaustion and then it'll run again. It doesn't need to build up a ton of energy to run again. Sometimes it does, but for the most part, all it wants is just a little bit of energy to be able to pop again. So you see every pullback, it just keeps going higher. And my 4 hour is forward leaning of my daily. So I see over here my RSI lag is coming out of the bottom, and my chart pattern is looking pretty good. So I have this at the bottom and this coming out of the bottom, which would pretty much mean that there's a pretty good chance, this is my favorite setup, that it's going to continue to climb higher. Now if we go and zoom in here, we go to the 30-minute chart. So it's been consolidating back pretty good, and it seems to find a bottom here, and then this is a higher high here. It extends higher than this, so that gives me a pretty good indicator that it may reverse. So it's probably a little premature, but my indicator is indicating that it wants to continue to go again. And since AMD has been a pretty powerful stock, like, I am confident in taking this trade here. But I'm so close to the bottom that if it starts to reverse and go back down, then I can get out if I need to. But generally what I've seen, if I have this type of setup, it's a pretty good probability. And I know Wright is very bullish. Remington Wright is very bullish on this. So usually if he's on board with it, it's a pretty good trade. Alright, so we'll get into the analyze then. So analyze tab, risk profile, and then down here, positions and simulated trades. I'll go ahead and bring this down. And kind of how I set mine up is this price needs to be 1 day past my expiration. So March 18th actually, because although my expiry is the 17th, it actually expires on the morning of the 18th, the Saturday. So I'll set that to there. And don't worry about this yet. And here I can see here, left click. I should be able to, there we go, zoom in and out of this guy. There we go. So I can zoom in and out of this as well. And then I personally like the day step, 4-day step. And then you can set these different metrics. We'll look at PL, but you can also look at delta and gamma, all the different types of things here. So if you're looking at how time decay is going to go going forward on this, it's going to give you your projections here. So that your different lines are your different dates. So you can see on 320, this is already past expiry. So I need to back these steps down a little bit. So I start out at 0 here for my delta, and I really don't reach too much decay until going forward here. I'm sorry, this is our dollar amount. Let me get myself turned around. But we'll stick away from that. We'll go to PLs. So as the price, let's see, we're at what, 13.13 right now. So yeah, right there. This will give you, if it stayed the same price on the date or 2 days before expiry on 3/16/17, we'd actually be minus 32. Whereas if it drops back down to, let's say, $12, then we'd be minus 57. So this can literally, the price step is my favorite because now I can look at all these different dates, because nobody's ever gonna, well, I shouldn't say nobody's ever gonna hold till expiration, but generally we're not holding till expiration. We're just waiting for like a small pop. But you can see the difference in the dates here. So price slicing is also a really good one, and this is where Kaufman from TheoTrade, their like main guy, he said this is the single most effective tool on the Thinkorswim platform. So to me, I really want to dive into this a bit more and see, I guess, kind of all I can do with it, because right now I'm pretty new with it. So I've set my slices to, you can see here's base plus 15 or minus 15, 10, 8, and then you can do steps, percentages, and then your I believe this is 1 sigma, 2 sigma, 3 sigma, plus or minus. I'm sorry, standard deviation. So your standard deviation is your bell curve in your probability. So we're just going to stick with 8 rows of 2 steps, or 2% steps. So you can see here we have our base price of 13.14, and then 2% higher, 13.40, and from here on out. And the same thing with going backwards. So if we're predicting this to go 6% higher, then this is here, and you can set this custom. But also when we get into this, it gives us well, I'll go into extended or expected moves for those of you that don't know that. So here's my implied volatility right now and my expected move. So I have the 17 expiry, and that is a implied move of 1.52. So let's go into the Analyze tab here. So it's expecting to go 1.52 higher. We can actually delete these guys out. One more slice. Yeah, we'll just keep it simple for right now. So you could also go down as well too. So the expected move, below that. But our expected move here. So if it moves like it expects it to 1466 by the end of that contract expiration, then these are the prices that you would see. So you would see, a $98 gain 2 days before expiration, and that is these numbers over here, down here. So as we're reaching the expected move on these dates, you can see how your profit and loss fluctuate, I guess you could say. So this is how I plan to use this going forward. This next week is using this 4-day step P&L and I guess this setup right here minus this expected move. But if I want to reset all of this, I would go up to this top corner and reset all this. And this is, Brian, what I was talking about as far as resetting the all the stuff on here, because I can easily go in here and start messing all this stuff up, and then I don't know kind of what I need to fix to get back to normal. So there's this sweet reset button. Resets it, and it will not reset your simulated trade. So it brings me back to normal. As far as like the probabilities and stuff, I really haven't got into that too much. I will go into this probability analysis though. So this is your good bell curve here. And like I said, I haven't played around in this side of it too much. But you can see here's your bell curve, I guess you could say, with your probability analysis. We also have this. I had a mix of old analysis. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's probably just a mix of everything piling up. So there's this also this Think Back tab too, and it can show you how. So we know that this expected move is on March 17th, 1.5. So has it always met the expected moves, or has it, gone past or fell short? So I can go back to, say, a month ago. And we see my expected move was 1.8. So then you can calculate from here, so we know what we're at today, 13. So you can definitely tell that it's gone past the expected move. And before that, this was 1066. So yeah, we saw a pullback here. But you can just see how valuable this is. What are the percentages across the top of the analyze screen relate to? So this should be your probability of it falling in this price range. So this is, I know this is the move to 1184 or 83 is a 27% chance. The move to 1445 is a 23.75% chance, and so on out here. Alright, so we'll go and do a different simulated trade and look at profit loss. So let's go out to 16. And we'll set this back to, you can even just do dollar amounts here. So here you can actually do vol stepping too, so volume and expiration. But Theotrade guy was saying that his favorite is his 4-day step. So we'll back off to this. So we can even do here the probability of touching. Yeah, Rich, if you have like any questions or whatever, just let me know. I can backtrack a little bit too, because it might be over some of your guys' heads. So I'll close this price slicing down. All right, so we'll just say we'll say the expected move is $1.50 here, because that's what it expects it to move. So 1.5, and let's say 3 here. It needs to be a negative. There we go. Okay. So this is about our expected move. Let's say we double it, it'll be to here. So we can see with this higher spread of 13 and 16, actually let's do, I think we can do a concurrent here and see how the difference is. There we go. Analyze trade. So yeah, we can see both of these now, and we'll change one of these to, sorry, going the wrong way here, 15. Okay, so here's another way. It would probably be a little bit faster than clicking forward and backwards for you guys. So my 13.15, you saw my profit loss here. Max loss 58, max profit 142. So pay attention to these numbers. So my max profit has just gone up. I'm unsure why. My max loss didn't go up, but usually your max loss should go up along with that. Hmm. 58 and 142. So yeah, here it shows actually that it's just you're going to get more profit. However, usually you're going to take more of a risk as well. Oh, that's why. See, my price is still down here at 58. I'm not going to be able to get that 58 fill up here though. I need at least a 68. So there we go. That's much better. So my max loss is a little bit higher, but I can profit more. So that's the difference of a larger spread. So that's one way you can take more of a risk on trades. Now the other way I wanted to show you guys, and this is a couple other things I was going to try to work through on this as we're all getting familiar with the Analyze tab, but I can also, like a vertical spread is buy one, sell one, but I can also change these numbers. Usually. Okay, here we go, custom. So this is still kind of a spread, but it, still getting used to this mouse here. but this is what Wright was saying he does, so I want to check this out. Let's just stick to 2. So if I buy 2 and I sell 1, so it's actually considered a custom trade, but it's somewhat of a vertical trade. So he said about 1.5, so this should be not quite as much risk, but we're going to go ahead and try this anyways. So my max profit is infinite, my max loss is 707. So this is covering my ass a little bit, but I can still increase my chances or my profits. There we go. So that's something else you guys can play around with. But I think for now, this is a little bit riskier for me because I don't want to risk this amount on the trade. So I'll be sticking to more this with a farther spread. Now if I go further into the money, one, it's going to cost me a little bit more to get in. But see how that doesn't help me out on profit loss. So I'm just getting a couple more dollars in profit for loss. So really every trade you should be coming in here and analyzing all this. Let's go in and look at different ones. Buy something a little bit more liquid. Oh, I'm getting all these NAs. I'll have to look into that. That's a little better. So you can also, since we got some newer guys in here, you can also customize all this stuff in your layout here, customize. Really, you don't need much of anything. What you want is open interest, volume. Don't even worry about intrinsic or extrinsic. Delta, you don't even have to worry about right now. I like the probability of touching a little bit better than in the money because I'm not going to hold it till expiration. But also you want to find good liquid options with low spreads. So let's do a custom SPY here. Delete this. And again, we'll do the same exact thing. We'll buy 1 in the money. We'll just go vertical and then 2 out of the money. 37 here. Put it down to 1 contract. And here, this is where it's a little bit better representation. So I have a $2 wide spread, $1-ish to enter, and then you confirm and send, and it'll show you here max profit 96, max loss 104. So that's a little bit more what we're looking for, 1-to-1 odds. Now we'll go in and analyze this trade. So this one seems to be quite a bit tighter. I'm trying to make sure I get everything right down here. To me, that doesn't seem right. Okay, anyway, so we'll go in and look at some of these other ones. So Delta, Just want you guys to see this. So my profit loss on Delta, if it continues to climb, I'm really only like gaining money, and then it drops off further to expiration. But you see why we play verticals is you don't really have to know too much about the different Greeks, because I'm only losing a couple bucks here on the deltas, and so 10 bucks or whatever. So it's really offsetting, so that's why I like verticals. Let's go in and do some I'll show you how I kind of set up my scans. I'm scanning in this weekly category. So these weekly categories are watch lists that is comprised of all weekly contracts. So if I go into the trade tab here, all these have weekly. So this is how I set up my scan, is inside of here. I scan only these. You guys have any questions, I guess? I don't want to get too much into this analyze tab. I just wanted to show you guys, I guess, a quick way to look at like your profit loss, as far as just go ahead and like confirming and sending these so you can see your max profit, max loss, and then like a short tutorial on this. I was hoping to get a little more time before doing this to look over some stuff, but had some unexpected things pop up. I guess we could also look at naked too. For contracts, how many days out till expiration? So generally 28 to 35 days. Now I like the monthly contracts better, so like the SPY would be, it's this 26. It's just going to be a little bit more liquid. I don't know what's up with this one. This expiry is really weird. So yeah, you just don't see as much open interest and volume on the weeklies as you do these monthlies. So 28 to 35 days, but also like my AMD trade, I'm actually going to go in on Tuesday, and so I bought this 17, but I think I like AMD enough, and I think this could be an entry for a long. So right now I've been trying to do more long trades. So I'll probably come out here and buy a longer expiry spread. Oh, that's what I was going to show you guys too, is the chart of the SPY. Alright, so we shorted the, or we put the SPY the other day, and I just want to show you guys kind of what we were looking at on that. So the 4 hours, what we traded off of, we saw us break in this trend to the downside, and RSI was coming down, but also the daily is very exhausted, below 20 or 38.2, and the trend is likely like getting exhausted, and 25 and below, like a reversal is imminent. So like we were coming down in that exhaustion area. But also on the weekly here, we're also starting to see some exhaustion on the weekly. We're getting down to that 38.2 mark, and you can see it doesn't really like to run to this 38.2 0.2 mark, it wants to kind of consolidate. So I would kind of be leery of the market the next few days, as we're seeing some exhaustion. But how our market has been going is you see a hard run to where it beats the expected move by a lot, just blows it out of the water, and then we consolidate, and then we run. And after like a while, the run will break down. So I expect to see some consolidation or a nice pullback here. But as for options, I want to buy on consolidation. So I'm trying to be more patient and buy, like let's say buy here, buy options here, and buy options here, buy options here, buy options here. So if you're more patient and just stock up on certain times of the month, it's way better than trying to make plays every single day. So that's another way you can maximize, I think, your profits or your probability of wins. I know King Kong was talking about Tesla. And if you guys have any questions at all, like if you want me to walk you through something, go ahead and shoot it up in the comments. But until then, I'll kind of just go over some tickers and stuff and show you guys, because I know that there's probably some here that aren't too familiar with this style indicator. But you can see Tesla here has earnings this week. King Kong was talking about like that. I personally don't like trading through ER or even really after it. I like time, like downtime, to where I don't have to worry about like that type of like volatility or how it reacted to the earnings and stuff like that. So I just kind of try to avoid that. Yeah, Rich, I'll walk you through another vertical spread. I'll do it on Tesla actually. So here we have the daily, and let's go to the 4-hour. So this is kind of a conflicting chart for me. The 4-hour shows bullish movement, but it is exhausted. It's not in this exhaustion area. But the daily is showing also exhaustion, and it's showing it wants to pull back, or also breaking out of this 0.8 is a short indicator. So if anything, I would take this trade short. Okay, I'll do, yeah, I was just gonna say, I'll do a put spread on this. So go into trade here, and I want, let's do the monthly. Now this is only 2.5 wide spreads, and for this, again, I told you that expiry is not acting right. So by vertical, and this is the one that I generally mess up. So one contract. Now I want to make sure that I am long, or I bought bought the 272.5 put, and I want to sell the 270. Now that's not the $2 that we're looking for, the $2 wide, but it's around that. And then you can see my debit is 128. So like I said, make sure you are buying the right put, which would be the one that's in the money, and then you're selling the right one. So confirm and send. It tells you selected a weekly option, got it. And then this is what we're looking for. Like I said, max profit, max loss are close to identical. 122, 128. And then we can actually, we'll analyze this one real quick. So this is opposite now because this is a put spread. So on my 4-day wide step of 6 days, as it goes down in price, let's say it goes down 12 bucks. If it goes down by expiry, you know, that's so 2 days before expiry, 1 day before expiry, it would be worth 57 if it pulled back $12. We have a 47% chance it'll pull back to 244 by then. So you can see percentages here. CSCO. Yeah, so this would be an interesting one. Now it's not quite to the point where I would take a put spread on this yet, but yeah, you can see we're getting into that exhaustion zone. And Brian, do you use this RSI lag in fractal energy, or is this just one you found on your own? In the meantime, while you're answering that though, so it's exhausted, this gap up completely exhausted it, so it's probably going to either chop sideways or go back. Oh, nice. Oh, it's true, you're trading Forex, so you're definitely using this. But I would wait. Well, let's go in here and actually look at it a little bit closer. So you're hitting the top and then you see a higher low. So yeah, this isn't too bad. Our 4-hour indicator isn't turning over yet. 78-minute. So 78-minute had a pullback, or pulled to the downside there. So yeah, this would be interesting for sure. So trade tab, get rid of this guy, and then we'll go in and do a put spread here. Man, that's really messing me up. Anyways, we'll go out here. Yeah, this is good liquidity on this as well, even for being a weekly. So I'm going to buy the 34, buy vertical, put it down to one contract here, 34, and then there'd be 33, 32. So I want the 32 here. So here my spread is really good. So yeah, it would be max profit, max loss. Rich, I'll put you through another bullish Can you look at the 31 March by the 34? Yeah. By the 34, 30, by vertical. Oh, call. Yep, I gotcha. So 33.5, and then you said 34. Fuck, I got this all here. Let's try this again. By vertical. Then we're going to sell the 33. Is that right? Maybe it's just because I'm out of the money. Obviously, you can tell I'm still pretty new to this as well. Oh, that's why, because you're saying buy the 34 and then sell the 33. So it'd be a little backwards there. You'd want to buy the 33.5 and then sell, let's say, the 34.5. Is that what you wanted to see? Cool. Yeah, so you want this thing to be green. If you're doing a call or a put vertical. Otherwise, if it's red, that means that your buy and sell is flip-flopped. So going forward, the thing that I think I kind of alluded to, Wright and I want to do is kind of go longer a little bit more. So I'll show you like Tesla here on the charts. So find a good spot to enter and like the daily, and then also take like a longer position for a weekly, because if you look at this indicator on the weekly, it is just absolutely nasty. I mean, we would have got an indicator, you know, let's say here, somewhere between this time frame here. The daily would have been forward leaning of this. Well, hell, look at this right now. It's 27.2, but how we reached a peak of 28.8, and then 12.12. This is the on-demand feature. Those of you that don't know. So this is Tesla on 12.12. So we see a little bit of choppiness. I probably wouldn't have taken this trade on this day. So let's go to 13. So here we start to see this weekly pop. So this is when Tesla is at 198. And had we bought here, I mean, we could have sold up at 288, 272, where I think actually we'd probably still be in. Yeah, so we'd still be in right here. Might be looking for an exit now though, since this daily indicator is coming down. But that would have been one hell of a trade, like a longer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. But it still would have been a killer trade. I mean, I'm talking an $80 move. Anyone else got anything? I can run tickers as well too if you guys want. I'm sure Rich probably has about 15 of them, including Dram. I don't know, dude. Oh, 4 hours showing positive. Little bullish engulfing candle here. Don't look too bad. Kind of actually looks pretty nice. Okay, splitting the screen right like this. Let's see here. It's been set like this for so long. I'm trying to think how the hell I even did it. Oh, there we go. Yeah. It's this bar up here, so I can go down to 1 or 2. Now, I personally like the 2. I mean, you can go to a crazy amount here. So I personally like the 2, and I will link. I will link this red with this red with this red, and then I will change the time frame here 4 hours. So I have my daily, my 4 hours, and then when I have my watch list or my scan results, I can just hit the down arrow, maybe down arrow, and I can flip through. In bed. Okay. So I can hit the down arrow and just search through these. And you shouldn't spend more than a few seconds looking at a ticker. Otherwise, you're going to talk yourself into something that you're not seeing. So let me throw my studies back up on here. Yeah. AXP. So we've had a good run up here. Seeing, we're at 42, so we're approaching that exhaustion. The 4 hour is showing a pullback a little bit too late into it. Let's search in a little bit faster here. So yeah, I can see that it did pull back slightly, and then my 72 minute, this is another chart that I like, this 72 or 78 minute, I'm sorry, is starting to go back up here. So you might see the 4 hour, it's already close to the bottom, so it'll probably touch and come back up, or maybe not quite touch like back here. So I guess I can't, although it's starting to exhaust itself, it wouldn't be a good position for me because one, if I'm trying to take it bullish, it's just way too far for me. I like to catch it obviously down here a little bit farther. And even a short position has just been on a monster run, and I can't see anything definitive besides this 4 hour coming down, which isn't enough for me to take the trade. Roka. So this next week, I was gonna kind of go over some trades maybe that I'm looking forward to. But this next week, I'm gonna kind of watch Tuesday really close and see what the market wants to do. Because like I showed you on the spot, we're reaching some exhaustion. So I really don't want to take anything long because we've already had a good run long. So I guess I'm kind of waiting for a good pullback to load up. I guess would be my terminology on how I want to like word that I'm playing that. Roka. So the 4 hour is coming down. Now we did see a breakout above these projection points. However, that in of itself isn't too convincing. We're seeing this 4 hour start to come down. So I would expect this to drop back down and maybe hit this lower projection point. And then if it bounces off this 404 like it has been, or whatever this has been, 407, 406, if it bounces off that area again, then I guess I'd be willing to see where it goes. But as of right now, it's just bouncing inside of this, I guess, wedge right here. I think UPS was one. I was long in this. I'm out now, but it looks like it's kind of at a turning point here. So I caught it down here after this crazy gap down. This is one of my favorite plays. It gaps down, and then it crosses over and starts coming back up here. So I rode it up to there. I'm out, but now it's giving me a short signal here. Now I'm trying to play less against the trend of the overall market. However, this would be one that I'd be interested in because we failed to reach this new high here and we had a massive gap down, kind of consolidated backwards a little bit, and now we may continue to break this lower bottom here. So that's kind of what I'm watching. DFS, that's the one I talked about the other day. I took this one as well. I was kind of waiting for this one to set up. I probably a week ago, I was probably going to watch this for a week. I saw this bottom line kind of extending out because this is what I really look for. Spend a lot of time at the bottom and then it starts coming up. So I was waiting for it, and then it finally started coming up, the 4 hour. I think I got in maybe off this second bottom hit. Somewhere in this time frame. It might have been off this or it might have been before that. But bounces off that bottom and we've seen a nice extension up, and then at the end of the day really strong. So my 4 hour is coming down, so it'd be something to be cautious of. And this thing is close to the top, but as good as it ran, it needed this consolidation. ACUR. So yeah, the first thing I'm looking at is this guy right here, coming down out of the bottom. And you can see we've really been stuck at 1.4, $1.40. I'm not sure why this thing, if it just spiked for no reason. What? 2.7. So yeah, it must have just ran that day. So yeah, that one I expect to come down farther. You can see where we have not reached a new bottom yet. We just keep going lower. We do see a nice green candle here at the end, but even that, like the indicator, is still very bearish on this. So I would expect this to keep going further south. Anybody else have anything? Back. Yeah, this looks pretty good. It would be a shorter duration probably, just because this isn't like a clean break off the bottom. I'm trying to generally look for yeah, I'm looking for someone to, or for it to be coming off this bottom like it is, but the daily be at the bottom, so that way it's forward leaning of that, because it just, to me, I think it has more room to run like that. Now it could certainly be already right here and just keep grinding its way up, but you can see the probability of that is less likely. So it would be a shorter term, but this thing coming off the bottom with really good energy shows that it wants to probably break this high right here, previous high. So this would be good shorter term. Yeah, I'll do a quick back option. So me personally, I would be trading this shorter term. So I can't see myself holding it for longer than 12 days. So we'll do 12 days here. And this is something else I have to look at too, is does it make more sense to do a 12-day in shorter term, or like I was saying, go out to like what I usually do, but do I guess leverage it how Wright does it, to where I have more longs than I do shorts. So that's something else I gotta, I guess, play around with the analyze tab and really thoroughly look at. I'm assuming, but it would probably be better to do a longer expiry with that, like higher leverage. I know it's a wrong term to use, but so we'll go out here and we'll just do this. So 24. This isn't. We'll go here. 24.5 vertical. One contract size. We'll do 26.5. $2 wide spread. 43. So one of the reasons that this thing is so low as of right now, from my understanding, it is due to volatility. Right now, volatility is at a low for sure. I'm trying to think where this is. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So the current IV percentage is 6%. So there is no, like, hardly any volatility. This is the 6th percentile of its 52 weeks. So that's why these are so cheap. There's no volatility in them. So like Theo Trader was saying, if there's ever a time to go long, it's now, because it's so cheap to get into a trade. So we'll go down here to this. So 24.5, I'm buying. I am selling 26.5 for 43, and that's why it is so cheap now. So even if I wanted to do, like, if I think Bank of America's going sky high within the next year, buy vertical 22, we'll do 25, 168. So it's still like super cheap here to get into a long-term contract option, whereas generally this price would be higher, which means my max loss would be higher out of my profit. So Rich, as you can see, this energy is super high. We're at 70. Well, when I'm over here, you can see that the yellow is at 76, right in here, 76, 0.76. So it wants to run somewhere. And like the last time, well, I try to go back and look at like the last times it was at that point, above 68 there. But it's been really choppy as of lately, and again, still really choppy. So although the energy's high, I can't tell what direction this is really going. But I've actually got to run. Wife needs some help with some stuff. So if you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know, jot them down, and I can answer them, or um, we can get to them next time, first thing. Yeah, no problem, guys. Yeah, Rich, it would look, yeah, it would look really good if it was down here for a while and then it rained. You can see where that indicator works best there. Even like this choppy time, it's choppy and then it does eventually run, but it works best like that. Yeah, like I said, I probably won't be making too many calls this next week, depending on how Tuesday goes. But I'm going to try to do most of my trades in a small little block, but maybe I can throw a couple out there here and there so you guys can kind of get some reps in. All right, guys, we'll catch you later.